back to the WJ with a problem. Now, make sure it's recording. Alright, so we brought it off a guy that only had it days, not even a week. He purchased it, and then as he drove it away, it stopped. He had insurance, RAC, which towed it to the yard and did a diagnosis on it. They couldn't quite exactly diagnose it, but it did come up with some problems. And so, yeah, here she is. The 4.7. Now apparently, I asked him, like, after it stopped, how long before you could restart it? He didn't know. So, because he had it straight away towed, he tried to start it for a while, it would not crank. So, hang on, let me pause for a minute. Oh, sorry about that. Nature call. So, I've got the printout. I'll pop it up on screen. It had like suspension problems, fuel leak problem, but we had it running for 15 minutes parked here, and it didn't really miss a beat. It's got an exhaust leak, so I'll start it up. This is so, as you can see, you wouldn't think there'd be anything majorly wrong with it. But for some reason it conks out and won't start again. Like, I thought, computer module. But obviously the guy knew it was a problem because it's got brand new coils, right? It's got a new battery. He's replaced a lot of suspension, like control arms. It's got some more new parts here that need replacing, and I presume he's replaced the fuel pump. So, have any of you come across this problem before? This weekend my son will come, who owns this. He'll come and drive it, and I'll follow him and see what happens when it conks out. But I've got two things that bug me, right? On the printout, which I'll show now, here is the code for the oil pressure sender voltage, low and high, and here is the distributor shows the pulse to injectors when cutting out. As you can see, if you're reading it, it's got an oil sensor problem, a high voltage and low voltage. I presume that means that the oil pressure sender unit is faulty. Now, could it be that the module realizes, hang on a minute, I've got no oil pressure, I'm going to shut this thing down to protect it? Does this Jeep have that protection thing to protect itself? Or another thing I noticed the other day, right? Oh, am I still filming? Yes. Press the button. Okay, let me get the keys. When I was getting in it the other day, right, you don't think of anything, right? You don't see anything, but then I went to start it, Alright? And I'll show you. Now put the key in, and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, what in the world? Why isn't it working? Right? Try the other key, and it worked. I'm like, okay. Didn't think anything of it. Realized, okay, he's changed the door lock or changed the door. You know, like, right lock, unlock, this one, nothing, right? For some reason, it's got a different door lock key. Now, that got me thinking. You're driving along with transponder keys, and you've got two different keys sending signals to your module, and they're hanging, one's in the ignition, one's next to it. You hear the bump. Could it be that it was just this key the whole time that sent the wrong signal while driving, thinking it's stolen? Have you ever come across that? Now, otherwise, I'm not really sure what could be wrong. If it's not the oil sender unit, which I've got a second-hand one laying around, and I've got this mystery. So, what do you think? Please let me know in the comments. Have you heard someone, or you've come across the same problem? He's replaced a lot of bits and pieces. He spent money on it. My son, or I picked it up for my son for $1,500 registered. I think we did alright. Because my thing was, like I said to my son, even if the motor's buggered, you know, I've got a reconditioned one sitting in my workshop. So worst come to worst, we swap motors. But for what he wants, just to go fishing and move house and just do a few bits and pieces, this will be fine if he just looks after it. You know, mine over there has done an extra 50,000 compared to this one. This is a 203. That's a 202. So, you know, I think the seats have been reupholstered, or I don't know, pulled tight and sewn back up. They kind of look different. The bottoms look different to the tops. And this side looks different to that side. So I think it's had some upholstery or patching up done. But I mean, they're not ripped. It's black on black. It's got the white dash gauges. You know, it's got fuel line. Yeah, he cut a hole in the floor under the spare tire to replace the fuel bump. I don't know if we haven't had it up on the lift yet. Not sure if he replaced the filter / regulator. I presume he probably would have. If not, we can replace that. I think they're about $90, I think, for a good one. So yeah, you got new battery. You know, there's a few hundred there. Probably $300 worth of coil packs. I also noticed it's got a lot of new sensors. It's got new sensors as well. So, yeah. And he made that mistake I made when I first started working on these. Maybe that's what the fuel line in the front's for. That was the minimum length you could buy. ROC thought that was a problem, but I don't. It's basically a very similar repair job to mine. So, yeah, otherwise, you know, it's got no major oil leaks. You know, it all looks, it's got a bit of dust on it. But otherwise, it looks pretty clean. It's got a nice bar on it, if you like bars, you know, and a light bar, a roo bar as they call them here, and a light bar, I presume all this is for the light bar. I'm not totally sure how it's set up. Like I said, it's just been sitting here. We haven't done anything to it, but started it a couple of times. The battery's probably going flat a bit. Let me see. Yeah, it needs to be charged, it says. So yeah, let me know what you think. He brought it, was told it was fine, and 5 minutes after driving it away, it broke down, and the guy wouldn't budge. He wouldn't give his money back. So quick sale. I kind of feel sorry for him. He came from overseas. He'd only been here like, what do you say, months, not even a year yet. I think earlier this year, and all he did was work, and he brought this, and yeah, it sort of left a, he said, probably left a bit of a bad taste in his mouth, I imagine. You know, another thing, RAC said that the top hose is swollen, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because it got overheated, but no, it's just the wrong one. It's way too big, and they just crimped it up. It's even the wrong shape. So it's not that it's swollen, it's just that it's too big, and they just over tighten the clamps to make it fit. So yeah, so it's a 2003 with roughly 200,000 kilometers on it, which is just over 200, which is in miles. For you Yankees who still haven't caught up to the rest of the world with, you know, Imperial, it's about 130,000 miles, I think it is, isn't it? 64, 1.6 miles, right, to a kilometer, so 100, maybe a bit less. Anyway, yeah, it's less, quite a bit less. 1.64 something kilometers to a mile. So you divide that. Anyway, it's not important. Okay, that is not ideal, but I'll probably do a cold air in there anyway. So before we start hacking into it, trying things, what do you think it is? You think it's these? Was that all that was wrong with it? It'd be sad if it was, because it means he's replaced all these parts, and he didn't have to. He just had to take a key off the ring. Or is it the oil pressure sender unit? Or is it something, because the RAC says the injectors are shutting down. So is it got something to do with the module? The PCM, or it's got a power train and a engine module. A power train and engine module. Two separate ones. I guess that's why there's two. But there's also a little one underneath the console. I never really got that much into them, but yeah. So anyway, let me know what you think. Before we start on this weekend, that'd be great. If you have an idea, please jot it down straight away. I'd much appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you can help. If not, hopefully when we find out what it is, we can help someone else. And that's the whole idea of this channel, is helping. So we've had a wonderful day weather-wise, and catch up with you later.